I don't know.
All these people showed up and they don't know what we're going to talk about. Oh my gosh.
No,
Hopefully there's some value.
we've been pumping this up, so just getting some people to hop on here for realtor time.
Yeah.
And then just get rocking. So
see Laura. Hey. See all the peeps. I love all the faces. It's very exciting. Oh.
Yeah, guys, be brave and show your face. When when you teach a course or you lead something, it really means a ton to the person when they can actually see your face. So just do it. Show your face. Show your face.
They're so pretty. Look at this.
Get your lipstick on, ladies.
You don't even have to do the lipstick anymore, right? Like, who cares?
Just have your pants on.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what I got going on down here? I'm just saying. I've just lived inside of this Zoom box for 6-7 months now, right? Oh, Lisa's right in the chat. I have not worn lipstick all year because if you got to go in the mask, then you got a mess.
So true.
Yeah. You're just gonna lay there? Okay. Man, we just had a market center mastermind. Lots of things happening in our market. You guys having some crazy still too with low inventory and all the fun.
Yeah, no homes come on, and when they do, they fly off. And so
new problem.
Yeah.
Just shift the problem from one side to the other, back and forth. Yeah. My team leader gets to do, I'm sure all of you team leaders that are awesome get to do the mastermind with Gary. She just said this. I'll start us with this. He said, you can't be disruptive and then stop. You have to blow stuff up. Your business cannot get tired. That's our reminder going into a new year. We've obviously had a disruptive year as a company, as a business, in our business, and we can't take our foot off the gas pedal, right?
Sounds like our Mojo class, our Mojo call this morning.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I love that too, because Gary Keller said when he looks back at his career, every time they had growth or success, right before it, he says the S word. Actually, he said it. It's the only time I heard him, but he said that he blew stuff up before, and then it just led to like growth. And he like showed the trajectory and the trends and everything. And he's like, "What do you think I did here? I blew stuff up. What do you think I did here? I blew stuff up. What do you think I did here?" And it was just funny to hear him get all fired up.
Yeah, love it.
We can get started just to get everyone the most that they can get, and just wanted to do a quick intro. And you must be a Zoom pro. She has her city and state right in her name, just in case anyone ever has referrals for Tulsa, Oklahoma. She's the go-to team there. How much do you still track how much or how many agent deals you've closed? Commission or units, or how you track it?
Yeah, I do. I sure do.
Do you want to share?
Thank you, guys. It's yes. And so we are at 160 families closed so far this year, which is a record for us. How cool is that in a pandemic? And 30% is coming from agent to agent referrals. So thank you guys. And a lot of what we talk about today with customer experience also translates into the customer experience you give referral partners.
Yes. And we couldn't be luckier to have the guru on this topic. And it's very, very timely in a pandemic leading into a lot of unknown. The client wants this experience. They want your expertise. They want to feel comfortable. And it's all about that client experience that you can give them. And so Jennie's perfected a class based with her MAPS coach pushing her to share it and teach it. And we're lucky enough to be able to benefit. So with that being said, you can just do your thing, and we'll listen and ask questions.
Well, awesome. So I'm so excited to see all your faces. Laura, I know many of you on here have taken some classes with me, or you've been a part of, I have a Facebook group that's just for real estate agents called Your Journey with Jennie, the group. And so if you're not in there, go ahead and ask to join, because over all these years, I just discovered that, you know, I'm pretty good at systems, and I like checklists, and I like having a to-do list every day for every role and every task, everything. So I just started sharing everything that I've done over the years. So if you've taken stuff from me, all this is going to be familiar. Maybe it'll just be a good reminder. But after each little section, we are going to pause. I want us to mastermind. This is where I get to learn from you guys, and you might learn from each other. That's what we do at Keller Williams. We share, we rip off and duplicate. You know, I just ask, if you rip something off from me and you duplicate it, just make it better and then send it back to me, because that's what I'm looking for. I want to make everything better, right? So what I'm going to talk with you guys on today is from a class called Customer Experience through Keller Williams University. This class in real life is a full day class. And I'm telling you what, I've taught it a few times in the original format, and it's a lot. I mean, I get overwhelmed and tired just teaching it. I'm sure as a student in the classroom, you do as well. So what I've pulled out of it for us today is to obviously fit into our 2-hour time block, but then really just go over the high level, most important stuff that you can be doing to make sure that you're delivering an amazing customer experience every single time to your clients. So if that's all right with you, and that's what you're here for, then let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to work off a presentation, but like I said, I'm going to pause in between. Of course, if you need to take a break, you know, do what you need to do, that's fine. Again, I hope that everyone will do some participation with me when it's time for that. I'm Jennie Wolek from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have been in real estate for 20 years. And just over the past probably 5 years, I've really seen some more consistent growth in my production, in my team, and in my leadership. I think that all of the years I was failing forward and realizing that, you know, everything's already created for us. There's this book, it's red. It's written by a guy named Gary Keller. It's called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And so once I realized that it's already created for me, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Of course, we want to be creative because we're real estate agents, we're salespeople, and we think we got it all figured out and we know what we're doing. We're going to be different. But I've become more successful by being boring. Success is not sexy. It is showing up and doing what you're supposed to do every single day. So that's what we're going to talk about today. What I have learned and what I want to share with you is just simple things that you could put into your business now that are going to have an amazing return on investment, because we know that referred business is the best kind of business. Wouldn't you guys agree? Referrals, come list me, those are the best. And that's what our goal is to achieve all that. So let's get started here. Of course, if you ever need anything, just ask me to pause and we will. Everybody can see the screen? Yes? Okay, cool. So here it is. My amazing presentation I put together all by myself. You can see that Jennie is not, this isn't necessarily my one thing. So you're just going to get the content and me talking to you about it. So it was, I think, a couple years ago, I taught this class for the first time. And in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I'm in the middle of America, and nearby is a city called Springfield, Missouri. And I was invited to come and teach customer experience in Springfield. I had a room of 100 agents in there. It was a ginormous space. The speaker wasn't great. The audio wasn't awesome. And I still worked through the content. And what was fun about it is I pulled into the hotel. They put me up. This is in the old days, like when you traveled and you trained in front of people. It's weird. It's like, seems like a zillion years ago. And I pull into the hotel that I was staying at, that they put me up in. And this was the wall in the lobby. I walk through the doors, they open up, and to my left, it says, "Making you happy makes us happy." And I was in town to teach a class about customer experience. Customer experience is all around us all the time. And especially when you're focusing on it and you're teaching it, my sense of it was even higher. So I'm noticing this. I walk in, I see this, and I start smiling. I mean, how do you think that put me off on the such a great foot right from the beginning? And it continued that way as well. I had a great experience while I was there. So today is all about that. I'll skip this slide. I'm going to assume that you're here because you want to learn about delivering an amazing client experience. So what is great about this class is exactly everything I love in systems. It's 5 steps and it's 5 letters. And this is what we're going to talk about today. This is the 5S model of customer experience: setting expectations, serving our clients, surveying along the way, surpassing any expectations they may have had, and then sustaining the relationship long after the closing. That sounds good to everybody? You guys excited to learn about that? Because inside of each of these, we're going to have actual things that you can be doing to make sure that you're delivering an amazing client experience. So whenever you think about implementing a 5S model, you can just know that here are the benefits. It's going to bring value to you and your business, your clients. You know, you're not going to have just paper all over the place because you'll forget like how to do things and sticky notes everywhere. Everything's going to be in one place. You're going to ensure that expectations are set and exceeded over and over again. You want to deliver the same experience consistently to your clients, which then also makes sure that they have confidence that you're doing what you said you do and you perform it, and they're going to have confidence in you. You're going to be more organized. You're going to share and communicate along the way. You're going to surpass expectations and let your customers know when you do that. And you're going to survey. You're going to get feedback. You're going to make sure that they're feeling okay through this process. It's a big deal to buy or sell a house. And that is a big responsibility that we have. And you're going to be able to check off on your success because you're going to know if you have delivered that experience to them or not. Sustaining the relationship is literally my goal every single time, and making sure that they feel those warm and fuzzies at the end, that even if there were troubles along the way, bumpy road inside of the transaction, getting them to the closing table, that at the end of the day, they still know that we did everything that we could to get them to their real estate goals. This is a roadmap. It's going to help you along the way. And it's also going to make sure that you're continually growing to have a profitable business and more production year after year. So those are all the words. I'm done reading that. So let's get going here into the next slides. So we know that 80% of our revenue comes from 20% of our existing customers. So just what this means, this is the typical 80-20 principle we hear about all the time. So just imagine that you see it year after year, and especially the longer that you're in the business, your sphere of influence production grows year after year. You know, this year, over 50% of our business here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, come from past clients, our sphere, people who know us, trust us, and like us, so they share their friends with us. And then we've implemented so many things, even during COVID, where we were able to stay connected with our database and still generate tons and tons of referrals from them. And that's what this is all about. You know, we know this is true. And so I think whenever you get into the place of becoming purposeful about delivering an amazing client experience, and you're going to share with your clients that that's your goal, that you actually show up and you become more accountable, because you know that they are more likely to share a negative experience than a positive one. Have you guys ever noticed that? I don't know if I teach a lot. I've taught classes in the past, and whenever students would fill out surveys, I'd get great responses, and then those few that had some negative things to say. And what do we focus on? The negative ones. Oh my gosh, you could have tons of Facebook reviews just raving about how amazing you are as a realtor, and that one grumpy client that, you know, did something they weren't supposed to do or whatever it was, and then you just can't, like, that's the thing we obsess about. So let's just do everything we can so that they never even get to the point that they have to have something negative to say about us. You know, we have in our world so many amazing companies that are already performing at a high level when it comes to customer experiences. So we don't have to look far. We just get on our computer and we can see great examples of customer experience. So Amazon, for example, early in the days, and I'll post this down here, Jeff Bezos wrote an apology. There was a problem early on in 1984. Look at this. This is an apology for the way we provided previously handled illegally sold copies of these books. So what they thought they were doing was the right thing, they realized later was the wrong thing. And so he deeply apologized to their customers. And so you want to make sure, and that's exactly what Amazon was based on, was providing what the customer wanted. And that's what they found. They worked backwards. What does the customer want? And we're going to work backwards. And then the analogy of the empty chair is just always imagine that at the boardroom table or in, wherever you're meeting together as a team, that you have an empty chair that has the customer in mind. What do they want? And that's how you're going to best serve your clients. Here's another one, Disney World. Who loves Disney as much as I do? 9 times. It's our first year to not go for spring break. We're dying. My daughter is crying every single day. And we're going to get over it, and it's okay. And think about your experience if you've ever been to Disney World, or imagine it if you haven't. They really engage every single one of you. They even say as soon as you show up on property, they say, welcome back, because there is a very high statistic chance that you are coming back, and they want you to know how happy they are that you are there. We always love our experience at Disney World. And then lastly, what about Nordstrom's? See, in Tulsa, we don't have a Nordstrom's. Do you guys have a Nordstrom's? You do? Yes, no? Oh, wow, I'm so jealous.
Close, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like Shore.
Yeah, that's so fun for you. Okay, well, I have only been to Nordstrom's whenever I have traveled to big, fun, cool cities. I mean, Tulsa's really big and cool, but And so I have found that I've seen this to be true. Like, they come out from behind the counter, they bring you your bag, they will help you, like they'll take your card from wherever you are in the store. And they really had set early on a rule that the phone cannot continue to ring. So thinking about these amazing different companies, what is it that they do that you could emulate? What could you pull from them and put it into your business? I'm just always super aware of what's going on around me when it comes to customer service, because we know that it's easier to keep a customer than it is to get a new one. And so how can the clients that have chosen to work with us, buyers and sellers, how can we make sure that they continue to use us in the future, share our name with their friends and family? So this is just a way for you to get an understanding and an overview of the value of a customer. You guys know they're valuable, but we got to put numbers to it so you actually see some math. Now, this is from an older slide, so let's just pretend that this works. Let's pretend that this is your average sales price in your market. And you can just see that when you first work with a buyer, then they become a seller, and then a buyer, and then a seller and a buyer. You can see that just one family in your database can total up to a huge dollar amount. And then I know, though, that there's this thing called repeat and referral business. And when you've heard anything from Gary Keller lately, all he's talking about is focusing on having a millionaire real estate agent, a millionaire database. And what that means is that you have enough people in your database so that you could predict about 10% of them are going to use you in some fashion. Either they're going to buy or sell, or they're going to refer somebody. Now, I was just tweaking these numbers and I think I messed up a bit, but you get the idea of if you have 1,000 people in your database, you could predict that 100 of them are going to work with you, and then take your average sales price times that 100, and that's the amount of gross commission you should earn in a year. So you know that they're valuable. You know that when they come back and work with you year after year, that's the goal. So here's the thing. every year, National Association of Realtors does this amazing report. And they do this. This is, you just go to National Association of Realtors and you can look up profile for home buyers and profile for home sellers. And this is the data I look at every new year. So this was at the beginning of this year. So it would have been 2019 numbers. And if you look on the left side, it's telling us what buyers are looking for, how they came to use an agent. And you can always see that 41% of buyers used an agent that was referred to them by a friend, a neighbor, or a relative. And even 90% of them said they would use that agent that they picked again. And then on the seller side, same thing. The sellers say that 75% contacted only one agent. And then 66% of them found their agent through a friend or neighbor or relative. And 70 said they would use us again. So the lesson that I always just pull from that is simply, trying to get my thingy over here. The information I always just pull from that is this reminder for us guys. We want to be the agent that gets referred by the friend, the neighbor, or the relative. We want to have that mind share so that when somebody thinks of or hears of somebody needing some real estate help, that they think of us. And then lastly, on these bottom lines, 90% and 70%, this is just us staying in touch. This is us consistently and persistently communicating with our database. None of this is new. Nothing I say today is going to be new to you. It's just a really, really important reminder of the value of your database. So if there's anything you should be working on right now to prepare for 2021, is getting really clear on how many METs or contacts are in your database, and then how you're going to systematically market to them through all of next year through your marketing plan and your playbook, and what those are going to be. That's it. That's all you got to do. And that's how you're going to have a big business. So what I discovered early on is that it's really important to know why you're in this business, what your value proposition is, and then making sure to share it with people. So I don't know about you guys, early on, I've done this for 20 years, and only, I told you, in the last 5 years have I gotten really purposeful about stuff. I know I wasted a really long time. So that's why I share all this today, is because I don't want you to waste all the time I did. But I got really clear through having a breakdown. I finally had a breakthrough. And in that breakthrough, I got to discover that real estate has to start with, this is a tough business. You got to have a lot of grit and perseverance and get up and get going, right? This is a contact sport. You have to be making contact with people. And I wasn't really clear on what my mission was and my purpose. And so I got to discover it. And then as a team, we sat down together, just like how we looked at it early on. We looked at Amazon and Disney World and Nordstrom. We Googled all of these top amazing companies that we liked and idolized in their service. And we said, what's their mission statement? What does that sound like? What's that feel like? And so we morphed it into our own. And this really just speaks to who we are as a team. So if you don't have a business mission statement, use this time over the next few weeks to finish out the year, thinking really deep and hard and long about what matters to you and how can we apply what matters to you into your business. So once I got clear that delivering an amazing client experience really matters to me, and making sure that we never stop learning. We're continuing to learn and grow, whether it's in the current market with the data or whether it is through other kinds of training and education. We're going to always continue to grow. And then also, I know that I love my community, just like you guys do. So how can I be a professional leader in my community and pour back into local businesses and nonprofits? And then lastly, I discovered that I love teaching and training and empowering our youth. So I became a KWKC QL for young adults instructor. And so now, doing my passion, which is teaching and training, I get to do that, which then adds value to my database, because whenever I teach and train and share either to my agent community, which I love, or to my local community, it's bettering all of us. We're improving and we're getting better. And it's a way that you get to just add value, and it feels good on top of all that. So here's my mission. I'm sure you've read it by now as I've been rambling along, but I believe that when you read it and you see it and you feel it, that's when you know that it's right. And this one feels right to me. So our mission is to deliver on our promise. And I'm going to pause there. So down here below is our promise. We borrowed this idea from a guy named Mike Hicks. Years ago, he was on stage with Gary Keller, and he was sharing how he was generating so much referral business in his small town of Idaho Falls, where he was dominating his market. Like 70% of his production was coming directly from referrals, repeat business. And so Gary asked him, how are you doing that? And he says, well, I just tell them that we have a goal. And I explain what the goal is. And the goal is that we're going to deliver such an amazing client experience that by the time we get to the end of working together, they're going to be so excited to share friends and family with us who may need some real estate help, that they're going to tell us by the time we get to closing of a name of somebody that we can help. And you know what? If they don't share a name with us, then I'm going to ask them why. I'm going to ask them for feedback. I'm going to see what we could have done better, because if they haven't thought of anyone, that tells me that we did not deliver on our promise. So that's where our mission plus our promise come in together here. So we say that it is our mission to deliver on our promise and to provide the highest quality client experience with a sense of warmth and friendliness. Now, that warmth and friendliness, that actually comes directly from Southwest Airlines and Trader Joe's mission statements. So see, you can borrow that because I borrowed it. And then we also have a learning-based culture, because I know you guys are here hanging out with me today. That means you focus on training and education, and you know that it's so important. So again, whether it's within myself in learning and growing or personal development, or within my team and training and making sure that they're highly educated to best serve our clients, that is who we are. That is our culture. And we're dedicated to giving back to our clients. And we do that through giving an amazing experience, right? And we give back to our community because we support our local businesses. And we also make sure that with every closing that we have, we make a donation to our clients' favorite nonprofit. And so therefore they are knowing that we are invested in them and our community. And then lastly is the part about my passion for teaching. Brittany on my team is also an agent, and she's also a QL instructor. So she's being a part of our team also means that you're going to fit into alignment with our culture, and that's who we are. So here you go. You can just use this, copy and paste it as you like. Our promise is that we're going to work as a team to make sure that it's smooth and seamless from start to finish. We're going to exceed your expectations by being solutions-based. Make every effort to be proactive and limit surprises. And this is where you can throw in a little jab, but you know what? It's real estate and it's people. So we're going to do our best to stay ahead of this. And sometimes things just come up. And we're going to provide an exceptional service by being honest, loyal, understanding. We're going to guarantee that each of you receive this experience because we want you to refer us. We want you to share us with your friends and family. So I'm spending a lot of time on this on purpose. This is a part of who we are in our culture and in our team. And so it makes our focus really clear. If something isn't in alignment with this, or a team member isn't in alignment with this keeps you really focused on being ethical and purposeful when this is who you are at your core. Now, our agents, whether working with buyers or sellers, they go through our buyer book, our seller book, and this is documented in there. And the agents actually even say, you know what, this is really important, so I'm just going to read this to you. This is our mission and what matters most to us. And they take a time out and pause and read through every word for our clients. And at the end of it, the clients so appreciate that we care this much. And then guess what? We've told them we're going to do this. We got to do it. This is it. This is where the accountability shows up. When you tell people that that is your goal, you've got to perform on that goal. So when it comes to a customer experience, I already told you part of our mission statement is just to be educated and learning based. Well, guess what? You're in real estate. You need to know your market and the demographics, and you got to be a market expert. So when it comes to being a market expert, think about it right now. I mean, every single day as a team, we meet on Zoom at 8:45 and we share our gratitude. And then we share our intentions for the day, because nobody's probably going to see each other in person as an individual, either admin or agent. But we then look at the market stats. And so every day since March 16th, we have said, what are the current active properties that are new, the current pending properties, and the current closed properties. So because we're always monitoring that, for example, yesterday there were 52 new listings, 73 pendings, and 24 closed. Today there were 41 active listings, 48 pending, and 16 closed. If you watch and monitor these numbers every day, like I'm sure you are, you're seeing that the market, more houses are going off the market than they're coming on the market. Would you guys agree? That's pretty much what's happening across the country. So then whenever you have that phone conversation with a buyer or a seller and they say, how's the market? You are already knowledgeable because you know what's going on with the market. And another thing about staying relevant is understanding different people's communication styles. So whether you're a professional DISC assessment knower, or you just have a feeling about people whenever you are meeting with them or talking with them, we want to understand how to best communicate with people. And so the DISC is a way that we do it as a team. That's just a personality assessment that allows us to know whether they're a high D, which is a driver, determined, focused person. Are they an I? Are they more of an influencer? Do they work through people? Are they an S? Are they slow and steady and change is kind of scary for them? Or are they a C, which is compliant? They love data. So when you know who you're working with, you're going to show up where they are. And this matters so much in delivering an amazing client experience. We even play a game every year as a team whenever we do our team planning for the next year. And we do a DISC assessment game where we pass around each other's discs and read them out loud, and we have to guess whose they are, and then we laugh about it. So that is a way that the team is trained up on understanding the different styles. So then they're able to define and categorize their clients. And sometimes inside of a relationship, spouses, partners can be different styles. And so we have to show up again where they are. And then your value proposition. This is what I just spent a lot of time sharing with you guys. I didn't think I had a value proposition for years. I think I'm just normal, average. I just help people through the process of buying, selling homes. That could be a great value proposition. Are you caring and kind? That's a value proposition. What makes you different from somebody else? That is all a value proposition is. And you just want to make sure people know it. That is the goal. And what do you do different? All right, here we go. We're to the first of the 5 S's. Are you guys ready? Here we go. I have videos on all of these, and so that I get a minute to not talk, I'm just going to play a video. So here we go. See if this works. Can you see my screen? Can you hear?
It's Jennie with the Wolek Group, Keller Williams Realty in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Today, I wanted to talk with you about customer experience. How's yours? What kind of experience do you give your clients? Is it good? Could it be great? Well, I don't know about you. Every day in my brain, I am thinking about ways to provide a better customer experience for everyone that we meet anyone in the community that we come in contact with, and even with our other realtor friends, so that we all can give better experiences to our clients. In the class that I've been teaching called Customer Experience, there is a 5S model in which the class is based on. And today I'm going to talk about the first S of the 5 S's, and that is set. We know that in providing a great customer experience and having an awesome business, first we need to know our own value proposition. I have heard this year after year, and I know it's important, and sometimes I've struggled with what makes me unique? What helps us stand out from other agents in town? So in the class that I teach, we really dig deep into discovering your own personal value proposition and one for your team. And so whenever you are delivering a great customer experience, you first present your value proposition to the world, to your clients, and you set expectations, of course. So in setting expectations, you're going to listen to their needs, you're going to understand their expectations, and you're going to verify that you're on the same page. And then lastly, you're going to seek agreement. And this is where you're going to make sure, again, that mutually you're all together on working to help your clients with their real estate needs and goals. And that is the first S of the 5S model. I'll continue making other videos with the.
So yeah, there you go. The first S. Now, you can totally tell that when I make videos, sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to say and I just wing it. So there's that. And another thing is that in our purposes for today, when we're talking about these 5 S's, this is really just inside the transaction. So visualize that we are at the point of starting with a buyer or a seller. So we are going to set expectations with that seller at the appointment or even in advance, and we're going to set expectations with that buyer client before working with them. So in order to do this, we must present our value proposition. We talked briefly about it already. What is, inside of this customer experience full day class, you could go to KW Connect right now, go to courses, and you can pull up all of the materials that actually go along with the full class. But think about it like this. What is it that I do that's different from others? So I would say, in order to come up with some of that stuff, if you don't know yet, what makes you different? Well, ask your friends and family. Why do your people around you trust you and like you? What do they see as what you share as value? A lot of times I hear people were teachers in their previous life. You've got to be an amazing person to be a teacher, and let alone patient and kind, I would guess, because that is something that I think is so underpaid, especially in this year, right? And so even what about military? Have you served our country? That is admirable. So anything in your past. I waited tables all through college. That made me an amazing real estate agent because I was used to being paid in direct proportion to the service that I gave. That is how I was compensated. So that gave me a lot of grit and a lot of get up and get going every single day so that I could earn my commissions. And so knowing your value proposition is key, and you're going to just be sharing that with your clients on the front end. I really wish that this was kind of switched, like number 1 and number 2 were switched, because to me, you're always going to listen to your clients first, right? Like I'm not going to come into an appointment and just start talking about me. I'm going to ask them, hey, this is my old script sitting at the table with people. We got to chat a little bit on the phone together, and I'm so excited to help you with your real estate goals. And tell me, in a perfect world, what would this experience look like for you? And then you get to hear the motivation, what matters to them, and their ultimate goals. So making sure to ask great questions is key, and you need to speak a lot less than they do. Ask great questions, listen, and take notes. One time I had the opportunity to go on a listing appointment, and I knew from my pre-qualifying call with the seller that they had sold lots of houses in the past, so they were very experienced with selling, and that they were going to interview multiple real estate agents. And so I was nervous. First off, you guys, I've told you most of my business comes from my database. So a lot of times I don't even have to really perform. It's just a, warm, help the buyer or seller kind of thing. But this was a competition and I knew it. So I had to step up my game. And I learned a lot from that, in that I got to the appointment with this information that I would have maybe not have asked. Had I not had the training that I have from Keller Williams, I would have just shown up to the appointment and just kind of winged it. Is that a word? Winged it. And I would have just, just been myself, my natural self, rather than my purposeful self. And so when I got there, I just took them right to the kitchen table. I didn't even do the walk around the house. I could already tell it was a beautiful house. They already knew how to sell a house. And we got to the table and I just said, guys, I know you've done this before and I want to make sure that I'm serving you at a high level. So just tell me what is important to you. And I just listened. I had a notepad and I just took notes and notes and notes. And then I could hear what were the most important things to them. For one, the wife told me that she really was looking for an agent who thought outside the box. And I said, this is great because I brought along Neil, my stager and my writer, and she actually will help tell a story about your home and write a blog post and help you stage your home. So I knew what to listen for. And then in the end, they did pick us. I was so honored to help them. They were so nice and kind. And she said, Jennie, do you know why we picked you? This was when I came back to show up for pictures or something. She said, I picked you because I saw you write down my dog's name. So you guys, I just listened and took notes and I wrote down Fluffy's name and that was it. So whenever you're at appointments, ask about their kids' names, ask about their dogs' names, and not just ask, but write it down. So later on, and now you're going to show up like the hero and win the listing. So whenever you're listening to your customers, this is what you're also listening for. You're listening to make sure that you're the right agent for them. We just did a mastermind for my local market center, and a lot of the ahas from the top agents in my office were saying that they learned this year with COVID that they weren't going to work with jerks. So maybe that's what you're listening for when you're asking great questions. Maybe you're listening for if they're reasonable, if they're motivated, if they're going to be nice and kind, because that's who I want to work with. Isn't that who you guys want to work with? Nice, kind people who actually are motivated and will be, a partner in this relationship. And then lastly, we're going to seek agreement. And this is where we come together. So inside of our purposes right here, this could be where you're at the appointment, whether it's a buyer appointment or a seller appointment. Nowadays, it could be through Zoom. And this is where you say, you've asked the great questions, you've lined out how you're going to help them. And now you just need to make sure that you're going to be in alignment. And now it sounds like it's time to go ahead and sign the paperwork so we can get your real estate goals achieved. And that's where you're going to move. So that is setting the expectations. So over the time of teaching this class, I'm like, well, let's see, how do I set expectations? What are things that I do in my business that would fit inside of this category? So really it's simple. It's pre-qualifying. If you guys ever took BOLD back in the old days, I took it 17 times. So I have a lot of binders. And one of the really valuable sheets of paper inside of that was a pre-listing, pre-qualifying script. And it just reminds you to ask really important questions like, hey, Mr. Seller, when we get together and if everything sounds great and we're in agreement on things, are you ready to list your home with me? Question mark and pause. Because you have to listen for if they really are motivated to sell or not. So pre-qualifying is how you set expectations. Having a thorough buyer and seller lead sheet. I love technology, guys, and I am 47 years old, so I'm dating myself. I still love working off paper. I still want to have that hot buyer or seller in my hand so I don't forget about them. Technology is amazing. There's so much leverage that we can do to make sure we don't forget people. So I just have the old school buyer seller sheets, and I've shared all these over the years inside of my group there. But I think one of the biggest things I did years ago was created a pre-listing video email for sellers and one for buyers. So here's an example that you guys, when you're putting down your list today of things you're going to implement, this needs to be one of them. You need to have a video that is, this one is just sent through BombBomb. It's a pretty affordable way. We've got it on the lowest level. So our BombBomb is really just used for all of our one-off videos that we send to our buyers and sellers at every stage of the transaction. So you guys know whenever you're meeting with, oh my gosh, Laura, that's cutie. So you know when you guys are meeting, you're saying the same script over and over and over again to your clients. Like, for example, congratulations, you're on the market. Here's the next steps. Congratulations, you're under contract. Here are the next steps. Here's what you need to be working on. Here's what we're working on for you behind the scenes. Well, every time you make that call, just write down what you say over and over again and make a video out of it, just an evergreen video. So I'm not going to play my video. You guys can, I'll send it to you later, but this is what my video says. Here's the script. So you guys just borrow this. So my video says, hey, it's Jenny with the Wolek Group. We're excited to meet you and discuss the future sale of your home. We're confident that our marketing plan will provide the greatest possibility of selling your home for the highest price in the shortest period of time with the least amount of hassles. But before we meet, go ahead and click on the links below so you can get started on filling out our seller love letter, our VIP questionnaire. And if you have a chance, go ahead and start filling out this disclosure statement, because we know that that takes up a lot of time when we're together, and you can start thinking about what you know to be true about your property. Now, you'll also find a link to our presentation. Now, the reason I'm giving them all of this in advance is because if they're a high C, that detail behavioral style, they want to read all the data. They want to know everything first. So I give them the whole presentation. I give them evidence of how great we are, because I send them to our YouTube channel to show them that we use video in our business and that we're different from other agents. I send them to our local real estate public page where it lists the market stats for that detail person. And then I go ahead and give them a link to Zillow where it's got all the reviews, and so they can see that we're valid, right? And then some opportunity for other apps that they can download. So sending this in advance is such an amazing way to show up as a professional. Then you show up their front door if you're going in person, or show up through the screen, and they feel like they already know you. You're a real person and they can relate. The other key to pre-listing video emails is that, for one thing, you would just remind them before you go to meet. You're going to say, hey, don't forget, I'm going to send you an email before I get there. So go ahead and review that. So you want to remind them that it's coming their way, because a lot of times they may go to spam or junk mail. So that is just so valuable. It just sets you up from other agents to be different. I really encourage you to do something. If you feel like you know video is important to be implementing in your business, but you're scared to do it, I think you're missing out on connection with people. And that's what a referral-based business is all about, is connection. So sharing the market statistics, knowing your mission and your promise, all of these are ways that you're setting expectations. In this new world today, did you get pretty efficient when it came to virtual appointments? I mean, this was a new way that we can save time for you and the client. Now you can hop into a appointment where before you might have had to coordinate lots of moving parts or people. Now, one partner could be at work, one could be at home, you could be in your office, and everybody could get together for an appointment. Something that we added this year were virtual seller and buyer workshops. I've only had one successful, so I'm gonna be honest and transparent with you guys, but basically I set it up as an event on Eventbrite and had people sign up. And then whenever they signed up, we turned on the Zoom camera, we kept them off screen, and we just went through our seller presentation on Zoom by sharing our screen. And then, we had about 5 people that showed up. I mean, that was an okay 30 minutes of my afternoon when I'm quarantined at home anyway. So think of ways that you can be adding value and setting expectations for upcoming buyers and sellers as well. So lastly, something that I do to set expectations with buyers and sellers is whether they're coming in, would definitely be done when they're coming into your office to meet or you're going to their home to meet. Right here is just a picture of a swag bag that we deliver. And inside that bag is really just a little bit of swag. We've got a pen, we've got a notepad, we've got some, a notepad, we've got a water bottle that's logoed, and the most fun ever is our logoed packing tape. So a roll of packing tape is put inside this little bag right here, and it says the Wolek Group on it. And we say, all right, now it's time to get packing, because we're rewarding them with signing a contract, right? So this is how we stand out, and this is how we add value, is we do something a little different. So how do you set expectations? Just want to pause right here for a second. That's our first S. Setting expectations. This means you're doing this in advance and you're making sure that you're in alignment with your clients. Let's hear some ways. Let me just hear a couple of you that have some things to share about that or questions.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Hi. I have been doing a pre-listing packet that we've been giving out, a physical packet. Did you do that as well and find that the video works better? Do you ever do both? How did you decide to go straight video email?
I've just always done straight video email. Always. So Lisa, with this new day of COVID and wonkiness, I mean, this could be a way for you to save money, probably save time, drive time, all of that stuff. This could be an opportunity for efficiency. I think the key is just letting the client know, hey, don't forget, check your email before I get there.
Awesome. One thing we did experimentally to solve a problem with finding a courier recently was we had Cookies by Design deliver our pre-listing packet, which went over really, really well.
Okay, does that mean you delivered cookies with the packet?
Yes,
nice.
indeed.
There you go. So that's going to come up later on the surpassing. So good job. That's super awesome. I love that. So you're doubling up, delivering a treat with the valuable information. Good one. I'll have to write that down. What else?
I just had a quick question. Do you send out reminders for like when the appointment is to the client, or do you not, other than the email?
That's a great question, and I think that's something you could totally implement. I think it'd be super smart. What if you just set your own calendar event as an invitation and just invited them to the appointment? And then inside that invitation, you could have different links and information, right? Another thing, though, is it is put on the agent's calendar the day before to call and do the confirmation of the appointment and another pre-qualifying call just to double check and confirm. I love that. That's a great idea.
Thanks.
Yeah. Y'all good? You want to keep rocking?
I just want to say one last thing is
Okay.
I love your templates or the way you set your email up, because we do that, but like the way you had it with the links, like it was so clean and easy to see, where I feel like now we're like paragraphing. So
Yeah.
I really, really love that.
Oh, cool. Awesome. And I'll share this presentation with Scott after. So anything that's linked, you guys are free to have and use, of course. All right.
I want to comment on your empty chair concept. Like that just gave me chills. I think, so much of the time that we're putting our systems in place, we're like, what can we do? It's all about us. And let's envision our clients sitting next to us. Like, what do they really want? What do they expect? And that was just a super big aha for me. So thank you.
Allison, thank you for bringing that up, because you reminded me of something. I started teaching this and I'm one person and it's in my brain, and I have a team. I have an agent. I have, 4 agents on my team and a handful of admin. And just because I'm out here teaching to you guys doesn't mean it's translating back to the team. And so what we started doing is every year we do a mid-year review. So you know how as a team or an agent, you start your goal planning for the next year. And I'm like, well, let's take a time out. And so in March or June, we do a mid-year review. And so last year, instead, the review that we did was a review on our systems, a review on our customer service. So we went through each 5 of these S's that you guys are going to have here at the end of today. And we said, how are we showing up and performing in this area? And we went through all of them together as a team and getting different perspectives from all the team members. So that's what we had to do, was take off our agent hat and ops hat and put on our, what does the customer really want? What's going to give them the warm fuzzies? Because that's what it's about. Good point. Awesome. All right, well, let's keep rocking, and please know we will be coming back to more time together. So thank you for sharing those ideas. Those are all awesome. Well, serving the client is really important, guys. You say that you're going to deliver an amazing experience for them. You tell them all the things that you're going to do, and then you don't do it. I mean, what's that about? Whether there's a delay due to technology or a human delay. Like, I don't know if you guys remember these days. We used to put flyers out in boxes in front yards. They were flyer boxes. And do you remember those? Yeah. And so your clients, you tell them that's part of my marketing plan, is that I'm going to have a flyer box out for you. And then it was like a big deal. Everyone had one. And so it would take like a week to get the flyer box out. I mean, how are you showing up? You said that this is something I'm going to do to help sell your house, but now you've taken a week to get a flyer out there. I mean, every little thing matters to them. To you, you do this every day, so you forget that this stuff matters. I'll tell you how you can find out what matters is you buy a house when you're a real estate agent, me, and your spouse is not in the business and he is getting frustrated with the process. So just recently, we bought a new house during COVID. We just moved in a couple months ago, and I got to experience my husband being that frustrated buyer. And I'm like, honey, chill, just get over it. But it made me realize that this stuff matters to them. The message matters. The delivery matters. And that's what we want to do, is make sure that we serve them with what we said we were going to do. This is it. Our words and our actions matter and come together and prove our integrity. So your integrity is challenged every time you fail to deliver on what you said to do. I've lost clients this way, where we failed at performing at the level that they had an expectation of. So that means I failed in either not setting the expectation properly, or we just failed on performing it. Either way, I failed, and I've got to own it. And that is what we have to do. And and our clients will conduct business with people they trust. If we drop the ball early on inside of a new listing, it's going to be so hard to win them back over. And I've done it for too many times. And it's just, they've lost trust in us, and it's so hard to gain back. So please remember that. And all of this whole section of serving our clients is just doing what you said you'd do. And how we do that is because we have standards. Now, what this means to me is that if you're a solo agent, you have standards. They just might not be documented. I have a team now, and I, for many years, did not have standards written down. So what would happen? I'd have an expectation of what should happen, and the team member's expectation was different. And there was a gap, and in that gap is where we would fail our clients. And failing our clients sucks. And so I said, okay, guys, time out. I'm sorry. I have failed you as a leader because I did not inspect what I expected. And what the problem was is that it was just a suggestion. I assumed that everyone would call their client back promptly when they called or texted. And that wasn't always the case. So I had to say, time out. Here are our rules. So I'll share with you guys some of the standards on our team. So if you're a team member for us, an agent, well, actually our admin also have standards. No matter what, the number one standard is always returning a call, text, or email promptly. And it's lined out differently for each of the roles. However, that is number one. Returning communication is key. I told you guys that we took a whole mid-year review to go through our customer experience, and guess what the number one answer that would solve all problems always came up to be? Communication. That is always where we drop the ball. That is always where we can exceed our clients' expectations. So first you got to know what your standards are. If you're a solo agent, you have your own rules. Write them down, because if eventually you choose to grow a team or bring on admin or any kind of help, you can say, this is who we are. This is how we perform. Now, when it comes to technology, this is a double-edged sword for me, because technology is awesome. I just shared with you guys, I use video on every step of the process, but that doesn't take away the human conversation and communication. So even though we get a new listing and the admin is processing it, and she has a checklist item that says, send new listing video, email, and it goes into their inbox. But that does not remove the agent's task of calling client to communicate that same thing as well. We want to over communicate in all the different ways that they could receive the information. Technology is beautiful, amazing, wonderful way to leverage yourself, and you have to keep the human connection there as well. So for us, once a listing goes active, and even with buyers that are under contract, it's just on our agent's calendar every Thursday is their call clients and check in with them. So have it on your calendar now every week. And whenever you're at an appointment with a buyer or seller, you say, sometimes we'll get in different pockets of our time together where there might not be a lot of information that needs to be relayed between us. So you might not hear from me some weeks, but no matter what, I do have it on my calendar that I'm going to reach out to you every Thursday. Does that sound good? And you just make sure. Now, you could text them, you could, but I think you got to start with a phone call, and then you follow up with a text to say, hey, I left you a voicemail. Because again, communication, things get communicated differently through text and email, right? And then people, we want to leverage people. So whether it's an admin type person or a runner or a technology marketing person, whoever it is, this is our job as a professional real estate agent and a business owner and leader, to know what our highest dollar producing activities are, right? I'm telling you what, guys, I love systems. I will sit in the computer. I have great sitability. I could sit on the computer all day long working on systems and checklists and processes and GPSs and all the things. But is that my highest value? Like, is that where I should be spending my time? Maybe sometimes, but not if you're a real estate agent that's out in the field working with buyers and sellers. We want to leverage our agents through all of these things, technology and people, so that they can be doing what matters most. I used to love data entry, putting that MLS in all the listing pictures. I'm so good at that stuff, you guys. I really am. You can hire me out if you need to. So here are some ways that we like to serve our clients. So here on the left is just my little list where I think, what do we do? Well, gosh, you got to do what you say you're going to do. So that's where you have it on your calendar that you can't forget, or it's an action item inside of you have a SMART plan or an action plan, a way that you can't forget to do what you say you're going to do. Over communication is key. Well, how can you think outside the box? I mean, you want to be so systematic, which is very important, so that all clients receive an amazing experience, but then you really can think outside the box and be flexible. I got to attend a class with Keith Cunningham earlier this year, and that's something that really stood out to me. He did emphasize the power of standards and rules, very important. And then he threw something in that made me go, I am too rigid. because he said you have to be flexible. In this customer service business that we are in, every transaction is different, as you guys know. Every client is different, and we need to treat them differently sometimes. And that is where, for example, we have every client fill out a VIP form when they first sign up with us. That's one of the links that we have them fill out. And what that tells us is their favorite restaurants, their favorite flowers, their favorite celebratory beverage, so that if we knew that we wanted to give them a little something extra, we just go pull up a sheet that they already told us what their favorite restaurant is, or that, you know what, instead of giving a bottle of champagne, they don't drink. So they instead like coffee or tea. So we want to show up where they are. And that's how you can think outside the box with their permission, because they've told you what they like. Another thing that we got really good at early on this year was leverage through technology when it comes to walking tours for our buyers. So they didn't have to get out into houses doing virtual open houses. So we just had it a part of our system. Every new listing, as soon as we took the listing, that our videographer guy ran right out there and did a walking tour, so that if we went into shutdown or if the buyers didn't feel safe, we had footage that could be sent to those buyers. So there was no reason that they couldn't still purchase that home, or at least take a look at it. And then if you don't have a professional videographer, that's okay. You run out and you do a virtual walking tour and make sure to post that on Facebook. You guys saw at Mega Camp, right? When Josh's team was talking with Facebook and Google, what did they say was like the number one thing to be doing? Videos, live streaming. So be on and be real, be yourself. Don't worry about overproduced video content. You just got to go do it. I mean, we just had a clients from California call into our office, which doesn't happen for us, I'm telling you. And they said they found us online because they searched, best agents in Tulsa, but we have so much content on YouTube that pulled us up, that they saw all of our walking tours and how we did that for, providing value, and they picked us. How cool is that? So no referral fee on that one. It was nice. And now here's my most favorite of all things, and it's called a buyer listing. So this is something you guys are going to do. Make sure you write this one down because it's brilliant, but I didn't come up with it. I just borrowed it. So basically, think about it like this. You guys have low seller inventory right now? Everyone agree? Yes. Okay. Well, you know how you take a house and you have listed that property and you put it on the MLS, you put it on your social media, and you promote the house. Well, I don't know about you, but our listing inventory is very low as a team. So we don't have a lot of houses to be promoting right now. Actually, like only 4, which is very scary. But we do have a lot of buyers, qualified buyers, buyers who keep missing out because they're losing in multiple offer situations. So they're going to write an offer, they just aren't finding the right house. So what if you took your clients, here's Jake and Sydney, and you say, hey, meet Jake and Sydney. They're looking for their first home. Here's what they're looking for, and explain, all their criteria, their price range, whatever you want to share. Does your house sound like a match? If so, just let us know and we will connect you. So what do you think you get to attract when you promote your buyers? That's right, sellers. You get to attract sellers. I need more sellers. So I want to have a plan that every week we're promoting our buyers. So then I started thinking about this. I don't know, is there anybody spend their mornings every day like me, hanging out with James Shaw on those pivot shift ahead calls? I am on them every single day. And he started talking about this this week, and it's just this stress of this low inventory. Like, it's a crisis right now, guys. So we need to be treating it as such. So if we need to be doing everything we possibly can to find sellers, this is an option. Now, if you ever took Old Bold, I did, and there was this exercise or this flyer that Tony DeCello would send out. That was a coach back in the day. Nobody knows him anymore, Scott. And a 1-sheeter, and it would say, who do you know? We have all these buyers, and this is what they're looking for in the location. let us know. And he would just send this very simple black and white piece of paper in the mail to his database every month. And so I'm like, wait, why are we not doing that? So I reached out to Michael Lewis, who has Michael Lewis Marketing Suite and makes beautiful graphics. Now, this doesn't have to be a fancy touch, by the way, but it could be. And they already have a pre-made, good-looking postcard. So all you would do is plug and play your client's information, and you could send it off to your database. And the same with a flyer. So whether you do a black and white flyer that's cheapo, put it in the mail and go, or you want it to be professional, this needs to be a message that you're sending to your database often. Is we have buyers, because not only is it looking for sellers, it's also showing the buyers that are out there right now who are not winning the deal with their agent that you are proactive and you are thinking outside the box. And that's who we want to show up for. And then this last one that we just started implementing is called Matchmaker Mondays. So what we're doing is every week at our team meeting, this could be, if you don't have a team, it could be just some agents in your office that you get together with. You could say, all right, guys, here are some sellers that I have coming on the market. They're not on the market yet. They're just wrapping up some repairs or some paint, but here's the price, the location. And so then you can start sharing all of your pipeline sellers and your pipeline buyers. And why not cross sell them? I mean, I know that if we sold our own listing with our own buyers, we're going to get that deal to the closing table, right? Because we know how to help people all the way through to the finish line. So maybe you are sharing with people in your office or other agents that you like, always communicating of what people you have that you're trying to help. So there you go. How do you serve your clients? Let's hear some ideas and ahas on that. Okay.
I have a question about the buyer post. Sorry, Laura.
Yeah.
Do you have to get their permission before? I'm assuming, right?
Great question. And yes. So in the old days when we'd meet them in the office, like that picture of Jake and Sydney was taken at our KW office. So we'd meet in the conference room and we go, okay, guys, so after you've already signed the buyer agreement, like you've gone through the whole presentation, right? Then you say, okay, so here's the deal. We do things a little differently at the Wolek Group. We want to think outside the box. And a way we do that is by doing what we call a buyer listing. And then you explain it to them. And you say, so we're going to make a social media post with all your info, what you're looking for, so that hopefully we can find a seller. Because I showed you the market data. You know that it might be hard to find a home in your location and blah, blah, blah. And so all I ask is, it would be awesome if I could just snap a picture of you guys. And they, of course, are going to say, yes, that's great. Or no, can we send you one later? Or I think you do need to also be sensitive about it. So what happens if they don't want a picture or don't feel comfortable? We just have a cute graphic that we just use in that case. So you could say, we have buyers, or is your house our match, or whatever.
Okay. Because I've definitely thought about doing that before, but I'm glad to see someone else is doing it. So
I love it. It's great.
Hey, Jeannie, have you thought about, would there be an opportunity to potentially tap into Nextdoor? I know you can't necessarily always do photos, but then you really get into the community you're serving. Is that something that you think might work?
I've used Nextdoor for one thing because I just hadn't connected, but I think you could totally see where that could match up for you and your business. But we have these signs that we had made, and it just says kids and pets at play. And so they go in people's front yards. It's like it says the Wolek Group, slow down, basically. And then I put it on Nextdoor because that's the community. And I just said, hey, I've got 10 of these to give away. Just click here, and it takes them to a Google form. And so they fill out the form. Now I'm going to deliver it to their house. So that's a way to grow your database. That's what I had really good luck with Nextdoor on.
Okay, thank you.
I was just going to say that I've done this, what Jenny's talking about with the buyer listing, and both, you know, to the database in an email form, done it in print form, and it actually did work as far as the getting the new buyer's attention. So there was someone that called saying, hi, I got one of those, you know, buyer listings. We're not actually sellers though, we're buyers, but we're really not impressed by our agent. And this is pretty cool. You must work really hard. Can we work with you? So it totally works for both ways.
I love it. I love it. You know, I tell my team, because I bug them all the time, because I just feel like this is a gold mine and they're not helping me, always telling me who their hot buyers are, right? And I say, guys, worst case, we look like we're awesome and we care about our clients. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that kind of social media, right?
I would think you could do something very similar to that and even do it in a Facebook ad.
Yeah. There you go. For sure. I love it. Any other questions or ideas in serving our clients? All right. Just soaking it all up then. Okay, if you think of something, write it down and we'll come back to it, all right? Okay, so we have serve. Now we're on number 3, survey. Now this really kind of has like 2 different meanings for me. For one, we want to survey how we're doing and how they're feeling inside of the transaction. Because remember, for today's purposes, we're talking about from the time we've met them to work with them to the closing and then beyond. So we want to check in to make sure that they're doing all right. You guys, it's a big deal. It's stressful. They're packing or they're not packing. They don't know what to do. They're being asked to provide more information every single day by the lender. It's stressful. And so we got to even just say, hey, how you doing? Right? Because we get so busy just pushing through like they're a transaction rather than a human. And we've got to stop that. We've got to see how they are feeling. Now, the other side of survey inside of this also makes me think of reviews, which we love. We know that buyers and sellers are searching online, and that's where they're going to gather lots of data before they reach out to friends and family. And how could we show up there? We could show up there because we have lots of reviews from previous clients who were satisfied. So there is nothing wrong with asking for a review inside of the transaction. But first, I think you have to be serving them at a great level in order to ask for them to provide you a survey. So this is how you can do it. Just check in frequently. You know, I told you our team just has it on our calendars. Thursdays are check-in with client days. So just have that be part of your system. That is a checklist system. When they get added to your CRM as a seller, you're going to have a weekly call in as an action item for you, okay? Or it's just on your calendar, you don't forget. And you're going to ask for feedback along the way. I mean, it is the feedback is the breakfast of champions. So we want to know, how can we be doing better now before it's too late? So we don't want that negative review later on. So if you're feeling like they're stressed, just pause and ask them. You know, I mean, we're in this together and it is a partnership. I mean, you're their professional, but you're also their friend. You care about them. So we have to show up for our clients in a relationship fashion, which means we care and we're going to ask. Now, if you are the kind of brave soul that really wants to make sure you get a positive review, ask for it during the transaction. When are they the happiest? Early on, right? Like when they've just first gotten under contract, or maybe inspections are all good, or the appraisal's in and good. Like during those happy moments could be a great opportunity. You know, we just started having our review links inside of our video emails that go out every 2 weeks. So it's just always there if they thought of something. So it's always available. And then the number one thing, and you guys, you know this, if you messed up, own it and own it quick and apologize and find a solution to move forward. This seems very simple and it's silly that we have to remind ourselves to do it. if nowadays I'm not in production as much, I've got amazing agents that are actually really, really good at helping buyers and sellers, way better than me. And when it gets to me, that means that the client is upset about something. And I don't like it when I have to make the phone calls to the clients, because guess what I say? I'm so sorry to hear about what happened. Please know that here's what we're doing to make it right. And how can we make it right? Like, we want to know, we want you to feel whole. How can we make you feel whole again? So that is just something to remember. So here are ways that we survey inside of the transaction. Remember, I told you we have this promise. We deliver this amazing client experience on the front end. We share that with them. So inside of our buyer book and our seller book, it lines this out. This is also a video. I'm not going to click it now. You guys can watch it later. It's just a video we made as a team that shows all of us saying parts of our mission statement together. So how we're going to ensure that we, survey and check in along the way is we want to just make sure, how are we doing? This even comes at the end, and I'll fast forward it now because I may not be working with that buyer or seller. I get to have an after closing call on my action plan, my list. So I get a reminder to call and check in and say thank you. So this is what I say. I say, hey, it's Jennie with the Wolek Group. Thank you so much for allowing us to help you with the purchase of your home. We're just so honored that you would allow us to help you with such a big investment. And, Brittany said that you were so amazing to work with. And, buyers and sellers tend to start their, oh, wait, let me back up. Brittany said you were so amazing to work with. And I know that she would have shared with you our promise and our mission. And that's to deliver an amazing client experience. So I just got to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how did we do? And I just pause. And if you're a high I like me, which means I'm, really driven by people, it's hard to hear feedback because I ask the question and then I pause and I'm so nervous of what they might say. That's how I used to feel. But I don't feel nervous now because I know that this is our culture, and I know that our team has shown up and done what they were supposed to do by delivering an amazing experience. So when I ask that client on a scale of 1 to 10, feedback is the breakfast of champions, and I just got to know, is there anything we could have done any better? How can we improve? And they'll say, you were a 10 or you were a 9. I'll say, what would have made it a 10? And they'll say, and then answers that I get are never really anything that we can control, right? And so I just thank them because that helps us get better. And then I say, thank you so much. In you saying that just warms my heart. And we also know that we want to work with more families just like you. And we also know that buyers and sellers start their search online. So when we hang up here, is it all right if I send you over a link that'll allow you to give us a review online? And they say yes. And then guess what? They don't do it. Nah. Lots of times they don't do it, even if they say they will. So don't get discouraged if you are sending reviews and your client said you were awesome, but they're not giving it to you right away. Just know that that's normal, and you just got to have it as a follow-up and a follow-up and a follow-up to keep gently nudging them. But of course you did do an amazing job. They're just busy. It's not about you. They're moving, they're packing, they're working, they've got kids, there's school, all the things. So don't take it personally. So that is how we do that. Oops. Sorry, hit the wrong button. All right. So how are you guys surveying along the way in the transaction and then even afterwards, so that you can make sure that you're either getting the reviews that you need to help more families, or you are making sure that they feel good along the way?
I don't want to be the only one talking today.
You're good. I like it.
I like to stay engaged because it keeps me focused. So I have a transaction coordinator that helps me keep track of dates and deadlines. And, if I stepped away from the time of accepted offer to closing, they could possibly never hear from me if I wasn't intentional about reaching out to them. So my TC does an update every single Tuesday. So on those Tuesdays that my clients hear from her, I make it a point to also reach out to them and just say, hey, how are you feeling about everything? Is there anything I can do for you?
That's awesome. And I love that. And so another hack to that could be like whenever our listing manager sends a weekly update of our sellers listing activity every Thursday, it's copying the agent. So then the agent is triggered and reminded, oh, I'm going to call them. And then they'll call and check in. And then that's when they can have the conversation about a price adjustment or things like that. So yeah, like looping in a way that you're reminded to make sure you don't forget. That's great.
Jenny, when you do your after the sale care calls for your team, what day is that after the transaction? How many?
It's set for like the next day.
Like the very next day. Okay.
Yep. But if Laura, if I'm busy and I don't get to it, it's okay.
I've always struggled with, are they too busy unpacking? Do we wait 3 days? Do we wait a week?
I think you can just kind of play with that. At the end of the day, I just leave a note in my voice, like in my CRM, that I left a voicemail, and I might add a reminder to go back and call again. Yeah. It might be a little bit after, but if I don't get them, the admin operations, my director of operations has a reminder to see if they've given a review or if we've connected, because we also make a donation to their nonprofit. And so we have those check-ins that are after closing to make sure that somebody gets them for something. Yeah. What else?
Yeah, we do like a bomb, usually right after the transaction, and then we'll send it again through email like a week later, and then we'll text it also with the links, just trying to make it as easy as possible for them so they don't have to like Google us, find us, or so it's
then
like
it wouldn't happen, right?
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, I forgot. I'm gonna go eat a snack.
Yeah. We got to make it easy on them. So I'll just add to this, guys. I will always tell you the truth. I will always tell you that, like, hey, this is a great idea and I'm going to share it with you, but we aren't always nailing it. And that even goes with reviews. So whenever I'm planning for my next year, we're aiming for and building our first quarter GPS. I just have 3 P's of what I'm going to track. And that's going to be production. And we're going to just measure how many listings needed to be taken each month for us to be on goal. And then our promise, which is our customer service, and how we're going to measure that we're nailing our promise is because we're going to have a goal of 75% reviews or referrals from the closed transactions. And then lastly, profit. I'm going to measure our profit percentage based on what we want our goal to be. So this has to be a part of your plan. Your customer experience is a part of your plan. So ways that we've caught up on reviews, like Shelly is saying, you send them the video email, you make it easy on them, send them a text, you leave a voicemail, all the things. And of course, if you're like me, you don't want to bug them, right? Because we've had a great experience. Now you don't want to turn them to like this nagging real estate agent. And so that how you make up for that gap is you have quarterly contests. So launching in January, it's already on our playbook for next year, is a survey contest. Hey guys, it's Jenny with the Wolek Group. You know that we know that buyers and sellers start their search online. So enter to win this contest by giving us reviews. Here's all the places you can give us a review. And then you're going to get this prize, so just having this as a part of your system.
Hey, Jenny, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is on topic or not for this section, but you had mentioned how you give a donation to the charity or nonprofit of their choice. Is that something you're finding out on that VIP form? And then is there a set amount that you give, a percentage or a dollar amount?
Great question. We give $100 we don't tell or say that it's $100. Here's how that part goes. It'd be part of the follow-up call as well, and just say, hey, Lisa, we loved working with you, and I know that let me start over. Part of our mission and our purpose is to give back to our community. And a way we do that is by making a donation to your favorite nonprofit. What's an organization that's near and dear to your heart that we can give to on your behalf? And a lot of times people don't expect that. So I like the idea you said of having it on the front end, the VIP form. That's a great idea. I love that. But then also we don't. So I just ask them, and sometimes they pause and they're like, I don't know, I'm new to town, or, whatever. And you go, okay, that's great. I mean, are you cool with me just making it to one of the common charities that we use, either the food bank or this or that? They're like, yeah, that's great. So a lot of times people won't ever get back with me on their nonprofit. So I'm just kind of earmarking those funds of donations I was planning on. And then that can go, every client event that we have through the year, we make donations to different nonprofits. So now I've just got this pot of money that's kind of sitting there that is easily distributed to different nonprofits.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You bet. Allison, you're funny.
I know our team right now, we're actually looking at putting together I'm in the process of doing some research on a client survey to be able to send out to people throughout the transaction, and not to have it be overwhelming, but like on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe 5, 6 questions, to be able to continue to gain a pulse for where we're landing. And so as an operations staff, we're going to make a goal for a certain like either percentage of those filled out, or like a client survey score or something like that. We still need to iron it out a little bit, but I think that'll help us to figure out like where we are falling short, and doing well, and celebrating those things too, which is exciting. So
I love that. And I feel like in the full day class of this material, if you go into KW Connect, search courses, find customer experience, I know that there is a piece in there where it's a survey with some metrics, but I can't remember all the details. So maybe that could help fast track what you're looking for. Awesome. You guys want to keep rocking? Yes, Scott's Heidi, ready to go. I'm going too slow. Okay, well, fine. We'll go on to Surpass. This is my favorite, you guys. This one is the one that like fires me up, and this is where you really will shine when it comes to delivering an amazing client experience. Yes, yes, yes. You're going to set expectations. You're going to achieve those. You're going to serve them because you did what you said you would do, and you're going to check in, make sure they're feeling all right along the way. And then what about the time when you just need to surprise and delight? So this is where you, of course, are keeping them informed. And what about doing that extra? Now, remember, if you had a VIP form filled out in advance, you could know some of these important days and dates and things that are going on in their lives. You also know what they like, whether it's restaurants or drinks or whatever. So we added the celebratory beverage line to our Google form because we did come up with something a little different. We decided that when a house went under contract, this is where we would surprise and delight them, because this works for buyers and sellers. So a listing gets a buyer, it's pending, under contract. When a buyer finally gets a contract accepted, it's under contract. So that is the point that we deliver an under contract gift. So just for detail's sake, the gift goes to the seller's front porch. We let them know that it's there. And then for a buyer, we typically just take it to the inspections because we're going to pass the gift to them at that time. Now, all the gift is we'll come back to that in a sec. So all that the gift is for us is just a swag bag like I showed you before, and it's got a little 4-pack of rosé, like bubbly rosé inside of it. And it just says, congratulations. And we say, now it's really time to get packing, right? So we're just giving them kind of, this little celebration of, you've worked so hard, or, to get your home ready, or now we finally found the right house. We want to have them have a little bit of fun. So that's something we do. And I'll show you some more pictures here in a minute. But elevating your service, I mean, this is exactly where these are the companies that deliver this surprise and delight all the time, all the time. I love it. I mean, out of all of these, the ones that I frequent the most is probably going to be Chick-fil-A, because I have a 13-year-old daughter, and it amazes me that every single time the line can be wrapped around the building 5 times and I can get all the way through in the shortest period of time. And so whatever you see as value with these amazing other companies, what could you sprinkle inside of your transaction for your clients? What do they have in common, and what is their experience? Like, what do you feel like? That's what I'm always thinking about for us as a team. So here on the left are some of my favorites. Many of you have seen this one before. This is just where we put out welcome home signs. So whenever the buyers have gone off to closing, they're signing their paperwork, we have a runner or the agent put these signs in the front yard. And so when they come back after closing, they're packing, usually, right? What moving day looks like, sweaty or raggedy because they're stressed out and all the stuff. And they see this, it's just the cherry on top. They are just, we get pictures from them. So this is actually what this is. Wendy was our client, and all she texted was OMG. And Brittany, my agent's like, hi, isn't that great? And our client says, that's so great. So these are the kind of messages you want to get from your clients. You guys, I can't even believe it. If you go to our Google My Business on Google, if you go to the Wolek group and you look at any of our recent reviews, almost every client mentions our welcome home signs, about how that made them feel. Now, besides the feeling that it gave them as a business person, I also like that we put over here on the left a sign that says sold by the Wolek group. Because you guys know, whenever you're working with buyers, you never get your name in the front yard, do you? So why not add in this little extra name recognition for the neighbors to see about, a lot of our clients will say that's how they got to meet some of their neighbors. It's because their neighbors are like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I can't believe your agent did that. So it's just a fun way to really stand out. And over here on the right is just the picture of what we put inside of our under contract gift. You can, of course, pick whatever you want. But for example, this is where we had asked what their favorite drink is. So if they had indicated that they're not into alcohol, then we could put other beverages, and we would just have in the office, like, ground coffee or tea or whatever, just to always have things on hand for whatever was important to our client. So there you go. So let's hear some surprise and delight, because this is where we really get to love on our people, blow their minds with the fun. And this is where you really get to stand out. I want to hear great ideas from you, because this is where we'll really get to learn and grow together.
I've got something to share.
Yeah.
We always we always add our past clients as friends on social media, so we get to follow and stay in touch that way after the fact. So after closing, even, we try and keep an eye out for big life events. So we have a client who bought a house a year ago. She's having twins. And so, we sent her the text message, congratulations, when she announced she was pregnant. And then, one of her friends posted, like, oh, I'm so excited to buy something from your registry. We found her registry, sent her like 2 giant boxes of diapers because she's having twins. And she took a picture of them and tagged us, and she was just like genuinely touched. So just trying to stay in touch authentically throughout the transaction and after the fact too.
That is so awesome. See, that just gives us the goosies and the warm fuzzies, because that's what it's about. You reminded me, Dawn, that something we do is also friend our clients. And so we call it hugs, HUGS. So whenever we see a past client or a friend or a database of a person, a sphere person on social media that has some kind of life event going on, we'll snap a picture and send it to our operations person, because she's in the office with the whole stack of cards. And so that could be just, condolences. It could be a new puppy. It could be expecting. We have onesies that we made that say time for a new crib and the Wolek group on the back. So can you, do these extra touches that nobody else is doing this? I promise their insurance agent isn't doing this for them, or their doctor isn't doing this for them, right? That's why we build relationships, is feeling that warmth together. I want to hear some more. That was good.
So I've got one.
Hear it.
So whenever we get a referral from a past client, in order to kind of surprise and delight them almost in past, we have little cards that say your referral was terrific, and then we give them a couple tea bags and some confetti on the inside and mail that to them.
Cute. I love it. That's super great. Yeah, we'll get to clients for life here in a minute, where we'll also talk about those VIPs for life and making those relationships last. I want to hear some more. Any other surprise and delights?
Prior to COVID, when I would pre-close my sellers, I'd bring a little, just like the little cheap champagne or sparkling cider, little couple plastic cups. And, you always get this great picture of the buyer, like when they get the keys and all this, but the seller doesn't really get that thing. So we always take a little picture of us toasting, and then, we get to drink during the day too. So
Win. Love it. That's so fun. Anybody else? I want to hear some more.
So one thing that my team does is when we, about a week before the closing, once the closing is set, is we do go ahead and send out an actual invitation to the closing. And I know you certainly could do that digitally, but we send one out that almost looks kind of like a wedding invitation, kind of, very fancy like that says you are cordially invited to the closing of your new home, on this date and time and location. And, when they get it, and it's handwritten on the outside of the envelope. So they're like, boy, we're getting invited to something. And it just is an extra touch.
I love that touch. I think I'd have to have like a little asterisk that would say, pending to lender, title company, the things that come up last minute, right?
Of course. Yes, that does happen.
But I love that. That is so great. That is an extra touch. I love it. All right. Let's hear any more surprise and delights.
Our team gives boxes. So logistically, it can be kind of crazy, but they love it. And it's like, okay.
I forgot to add that with our little packet, we send 5 moving boxes. Now, some people, they go all crazy and they get them logoed, and you don't even need to do that, right? Lowe's and Home Depot have very affordable, medium-sized boxes, and it's the idea and the thought that matters, right, Shelley? Yeah. And you're solidifying the fact that they actually need to move.
Mm-hmm. Like,
right?
Get started.
It's time to pack. Don't wait till the last minute.
Well, and if you have the logoed packing tape too, that kind of covers that. Jenny, where, if you know this answer, where are you getting your welcome home signs from? Do you have a local sign company that makes those, or?
Those letters, actually, and I've been teaching this for a while, so Laura, do you use them? I know lots of people just Google online, go to Amazon and put in corrugated letter signs, and you can find all kinds, especially with COVID, they became really popular for like birthdays and stuff too. So I think you can find some good ones online.
Hey, another quick tip for a swag bag or a swag box type situation is to get stickers with your logo on it. So our executive assistant ordered a big box of our logo stickers, a nice little circle, and we can just put those on inexpensive brown bags or on boxes or anything we want. So that's really easy.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Super great. A company that I buy a lot of my really affordable swag stuff is called discountmugs.com. Discountmugs.com. I got that from my sister. She's a business owner in town, and she orders, pens and cups and mugs and things. And I mean, it's really plug and play. I can create things inside of there. So anyone can, but.
I heard for all the pet lovers that are out there to take like a cellophane bag and put a little bit of doggy biscuits in there, because some people, their dogs are their babies. And it's just a thing, and you can keep it in the car all the time. You don't have to worry about the heat or the cold.
You know, Judy, I've heard that before when I was teaching out in California. I think California people are really into their dogs. So that was a big deal. So that's a great idea. I love the pets for sure.
And it seems to come up if they have a pet.
Yeah.
When you're showing their home, somehow it comes up. So you know whether to give it a gift or not.
Yeah. So Don says, that's how the guy who built our fence beat out his competition. He brought dog treats to the appointment. I mean, you guys, I wrote down the dog's name and I got a big listing. I mean, it's that simple. Know what matters to your client, right? Like, even if you're not a dog person. Awesome. Well, let's get going on.
Jenny, one thing we've never done this. I heard it at a convention or I heard it somewhere, and I've always wanted to look into it. But when there's like the loan commitment or maybe the inspection passes, they sent flowers, or they sent like a edible arrangement, or they sent something to their work.
Yeah.
And then everyone at their work, which could be tricky now, but everyone at their work is like, oh, what's that? And then they say, my realtor sent me this, we just got loan commitment. And then it's a way to them to say, well, my realtor didn't do that. Or, you know, it's just a good way to pass that along to everyone that they work with.
I love that. That's a great idea for sure. Yeah, I mean, because we want to reward the behavior, which is coming up here in this next section. So we'll talk about that right now. Sustaining the relationship. So all the things that we've done so far, the setting, the serving, surveying, and surpassing, are leading up to a relationship beyond closing day, right? You guys know that this isn't just a one and done deal. I have no plan B. I've done this for 20 years. Like, I'm not going to go get a real job if this doesn't work out for me. So I want to be the best I can be every single day and have repeat referral business, because that's easier to convert. It's more fun and I love it. So why wouldn't I do that? So how I do that is by sustaining the relationship. And this is everything we just talked about, staying top of mind. Well, it's friending them on Facebook and being a real friend and paying attention to their life events as they happen. You know, in real estate, we get to help people through some of the most joyous occasions in their life. And then sometimes it's the saddest and the hardest time. And we get to be there for them through all of those ups and downs. If you've done this long enough, like I have, you've helped people when they are buying their first home as a single person, and now they're getting married, and you've got 2 houses to sell because they're moving into 1 house, and now they need a bigger house because they're having a baby, and now they're getting a divorce, so you have to help them with that. Or now their parents are aging. Like, all of these are reasons to be around and inside of their life, because first off, you care about them, because I know you do. And secondly, they trust you and you trust them. So they can call you and feel comfortable when that not so great event comes along that they need your help with. So something that we realized is we got to get real clear on what we call our VIP group, our raving fans. You know, who are the people that are already in your database that you have relationships with over the years? Maybe they're a past client, maybe they haven't been a client yet, but they always pass your name along to others. They're always your cheerleader. They are just what we call our raving fans. We call them our rock stars. So we defined them. So a couple years ago, we actually read a book called Monster Loyalty. And it was a book written about Lady Gaga, of all people. And if you read into her story at all, she's really great at having her fans and knowing her fans and playing to her fans. And they're actually called little monsters. They have names. And so people are proud to be a little monster. So who are your people that are your raving fans? We found that it was about 1% of our Met database when we first got real clear about it. So say we had 1,000 people in our database, we whittled it down and thought about who's shared referrals with us. And this means you may have to go through your past clients and your friend list to think real purposely about this and define them and tag them differently. So that if you knew that, you know, maybe you're just going to have a little mini event, and this event's only going to be for those top core advocates that you just always know who they are. It just takes clicking a button inside of your CRM to pull that list and have them filtered. I mean, this is what we used to do last year when we did events in person. Is some of the events we just didn't have the space to invite the whole database. So we just have it for what we call our rock stars. And then you can love on them extra because it's easy because you could pull them out. So we came up with a whole plan. I think I have a link here if it plays. Yeah, here you go. So I updated this recently.
Hey you, we think you rock. Hey, I'm Jennie Wolek with the Wolek Group, and we are just so grateful for you. Thank you for being a Wolek Group Rockstar. You have been selected to be a part of our exclusive Rockstar program because you are a valuable partner in our business and in our lives. Therefore, we'd like to reward you for helping grow our business by allowing us to help you or your family or friends with all of their real estate needs. We've created our Rockstar program to shower you with exclusive offers, events, and giveaways. We truly want to show you how much your support and referrals mean to our business. We'd like to invite you to join our closed private Facebook group. It's our goal to add value to your lives by sharing engaging and interesting posts, as well as having some fun, offering giveaways, and also advanced invitations to our amazing client events. Please join us by clicking the link below. We can't wait to see you there.
So there you go. So in defining who is a rock star, you get to strategically market to them. And we decided over this last year, we weren't getting a ton of engagement inside of that closed Facebook group, which was about 130 people that had been invited or had opted into the closed Facebook group. And so being the person I am, I don't like that. I want people to engage. I want there to be action and things going on. And so we just decided this year that we would go ahead and invite past clients who could also be a part of this group. So figure out how you want that to be in your business, but please think about making sure that they're defined differently and that you can have special things for them. So what I was sharing inside of the Rockstar group, if you saw that, let me pull that back up for you if you want to see this. Where'd it go? So if you want to look at this, this is just the template. We just created this recently. So in this template, we use BombBomb, and we also use a company called Viral Marketing for our videos. But BombBomb is more of just our strategic video emails that go out for different things. Not necessarily all database marketing. It's more specific. So this is sent in one-offs to each new closing, each new rock star. So they're just a one-off email that gets sent to them. And we just have a place where they can see upcoming events. They can share the love, and we've got the links here, real easy for them to find us online. So I just wanted to share that template for you. Now, something I learned this year, just as a little tip, on that video, you could probably tell I was reading a little bit, but all I did was I created a script on my computer, and then I just logged into Zoom and recorded myself through Zoom, and then saved the recording and sent it off to my marketing people to add a little intro. But I found that whenever I have a lot of content I want to make sure I don't mess up on, I will just go ahead. So everything I just said in that video is right here. So if you guys want to copy it, you can for sure. I just made it up. All right, so back to this. All right, your database is your business. This is it. Life, everything in our business is the relationships and how we stay in touch with our people. So you know the value of a 36 touch. You've got to have a calendar of events. This is the perfect time right now to build out what we call your playbook for 2021. You can already know which events, whether it's virtual or in person, which mailers are going to go out, which email videos and content are going to be shared. Do it now. Plan it out. This is what I love to say. You build the plan and you run the play. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every year. You don't have to reinvent the wheel for each giveaway or each event. They're just the same play over and over again, just maybe it's a different theme. For example, our Pie Day, we just did it this year and we did a drive-through, but everything else besides the drive-through part was the exact same play we did last year for Pie Day. Nothing changed. So you get to just keep doing it over and over again. And I'll tell you, this year with COVID and life, we just switched all our events from in-person to virtual. So we've done lots of giveaways. I share all the systems for whether it's they call into us kind of giveaway, or they opt in by filling out a Google form, or they come by and pick up a pie. I share all those different systems inside of your journey with Jennie. So you guys just ask to join and just search for whatever that theme is, and you will probably find it. And then lastly, this is kind of what Scott was saying about delivering maybe flowers or gifts. If you do receive a referral from somebody, you got to reward them. And so we just, for leverage sake and efficiency, we just send from AM cards, which is kind of like send out cards. They have those 6-pack of brownies. So if Scott sent us a referral, you're just going to be part of the checklist, is that we're going to send you a thank you with some brownies inside. And then that's a great thing to send to the office too, right? And of course we call and we thank them and appreciate them. And then also same with our vendors. We want to promote any local business partners. So this was our biggest call in to win that we had this year. All this system is inside of my group, but find something, find a giveaway or a theme that will generate people that will want to call you. And when they call in on that certain day, you just fill out the form. You make sure that you have all their contact information. And then you ask them, hey, thanks for confirming all your contact info. And if you were able to share a referral with us, I can put you in the drawing twice. And so we saw that we had more people call us, opt into our database, and then even gave us referrals. And some of them we didn't even know. Some people got our email and we had never converted them. They were an old web lead that had just been sitting in our database. We'd never talked to them. And then they call us, give us all their missing data, and then they give a referral. I mean, that is awesome, right? So be really purposeful about getting creative and how you're going to be adding new people into your database. And the most important thing is to be referable. Be loving and kind and caring and giving, that they want to share their friends and family with you. And you're referable because you've delivered an amazing client experience. So how you stay relevant, though, is also by not only focusing just on your database, it's focusing on your community. During these days of mostly working from home, I just have done so many Zoom videos with local businesses. Hey, I love promoting local businesses and restaurants and nonprofits. Would you mind doing a 3 to 5 minute Zoom video interview with me? And I'll just promote it on my Facebook page and share it with our database and our network. And everybody says yes. So during this time since March, I've done about 50 videos with local businesses. And if you guys go to our Facebook page, the Wolek Group, on Facebook and Instagram, we are just now launching a giveaway for Christmas, for the holidays. And we have over $4,000 worth of value in packages. And all of that, all those donations came from the 50 businesses that I did videos with this year. All I did was I sent them a text or a Facebook message and I said, hey, we're going to do a 12 days of giveaways. Would you be up for making a donation, and we will promote you? And they all said yes. So this whole year of us giving back to our people and loving on our database and our community will come back around whenever you need them to help out. So just know that. Here's just some fun different marketing pieces and videos, and I'll share this link so you guys can click on them later. And oops. Let's see.
Mamma mia!
That's all you get. That's when we did in-person events, right? Let's see if I can get this here. All right, so that's all my talking for right now, and we are to the end of our time. So I want to hear some ahas from sustaining the relationship and just in general, any things that you want to implement.
I love the welcome home signs, the corrugated signs in the yard. I just think that is just such a feel good. And so that's exciting. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. Love it.
Jenny, I'm curious how many admins you have on your team to help you with all of these systems, because it's a lot, like delivering, you know, who puts the welcome home sign in, because I know I'm not gonna have time to run around and do that, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So Jenny's main job these days is like director of operations. So Laura, do you want to say who does all this stuff? Well, I create all the systems, and then and I have a class that I actually share all these systems. So you don't have to, you can just like copy and paste and all that. But also, you know, what we found this year was having a runner. She was our transaction coordinator, and she wants to transition into being an agent. And so a way to give her compensation while she's out in the field. So she's getting paid $250 a closing, and she is a licensed agent. So she's helping out with, if agents need help with inspections or running signs, key boxes, welcome home signs, closing gifts, swag bags. So maybe find somebody in your local market that you could put to work for you for pretty affordable.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. What else?
Jen, when are you teaching Jenny, when are you teaching your class next, your system class? Do you have that on the books, or how do you do that? You take a certain amount of people and then coach them, or can you explain that a little?
Yeah, so what I was realizing is that I love all these systems, and I've got all these systems, and agents would come to me and say, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I was like, well, let's just put it in one package. So I've done a 3-hour workshop, and I've just wrapped up those for this year. And then after the 3-hour workshop, we just go deeper and spread it out over 6 weeks to implement all the stuff with some accountability. Laura's taken it. I'll let her talk.
All of you, if you love everything that Jenny says, you definitely should go do it. It's completely changed my business. My 2020 and beyond would be nothing without this. So if you like this little 2-hour snippet, the implement, the mirror is great. It gives you this general knowledge. And then the implement is a 6-week breakdown of it. And Jenny graciously shares her actual Google Drive, not just a saying like you get a link and you actually get in her computer. So it's amazing. You can rip off and duplicate everything, which I have, and I'm loving it. So
I love it.
And I know Chris Ruskowitz took that class too. So if you guys ever want to ask her, she's raving about it as well.
Well, this wasn't a sales pitch for my class, but if you want to hang out with me next month, I'm totally cool with that.
I'll sell for you.
Well, and though all these different things are systems and checklists and GPSs, and I do share all these inside of my Facebook group. So you could always search for stuff. It's just that the class kind of put it in a pretty package for you. So I don't know how pretty it is, but well, I want to hear just a couple more ahas, because you know that Keller Williams, that's how we wrap up. I want to know, what are you going to put into action, or what just, you know, was valuable about our time here today?
The videos.
Videos, yeah. Sweet.
Welcome sign.
Revisiting our like pre-appointment, our big event videos, and just making them a little cleaner. And then also like swag bags. We don't do swag bags.
Yeah, love it.
Awesome. I love it. Love it. Love it. That's my goal. You guys are letting me live my purpose and my passion. So thanks for letting me share.
We've been messaging on Discord with our team and just all these ideas, and it's fun to see them excited about things too. And one thing Jeremy mentioned was Sarah's idea around the formal wedding invite type for closing. Like, that's just a cool idea. And Renee on our team has really, really good handwriting. And I think it's just something really simple that can like just impress. You know, it doesn't take a lot in addition to impress, but that's just something that they can talk about, think about, and, you know, just little pieces like that throughout the transaction is going to blow them away.
And here's the thing, I don't want you to do this because I think I know you, because I am you. You take this and you go, oh my gosh, there's so many things I want to implement. And then you get into overwhelm and you don't do anything. So really right now, as soon as we turn off the Zoom, write down just the top few that you're going to focus on and just put the others aside. I'm serious. Just focus on one thing that's easy to implement.
I was totally reading your mind, Jenny, as a team leader, and also the 5 S's, right? We can put that in place for our market center. It's exactly the same. But I was thinking to myself from the agent perspective, imagine if you just picked one in each area, like one, you know, meaning 5 things you're going to implement in 2021 to up your game in all 5 S's. That would be a huge win.
Yes, yes, yes. I got goosies. That makes me so excited. I love it. Well, I love it. Scott, are we done? What do you guys want to do?
It's been
Yeah, so we are done, which is awesome. And then I think if either Allison or Abby or Mia, someone who set this up, we are having a private mastermind for the ALCs, the Agent Leadership Councils, as a extra bonus, that just a smaller group asking questions. Is that, I believe that's a different link.
It is.
Am I correct in that?
You are correct.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's actually already started. It's a separate link.
Okay.
So we will hop on that, Jenny, if you can time travel over to that. And
Yeah,
you know, thank you so much for this. This is perfect timing to plan out next year and everything that we are, you know, that we're thinking, and is just like, this is what's going to set us apart. So
Jenny, one quick question.
Yeah.
When you send all that to Scott, will you also be able to include your videos? Is that possible? Especially the rock one.
Oh yeah, so that was a link inside of the Google document. So you'll be able to click it and see it.
Wonderful. You do a great job. This has been awesome.
Thank you, Judy. Appreciate you. Awesome. Well, if somebody wants to send me the next Zoom link, I'll hop over there. Okay, thanks, Abby. Sounds
Thank you. See you
All
soon.
right, thanks
Bye,
guys for
everybody.
hanging out with me. Bye.